Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are gonna be beginning the narration and character voice acting for the vignette side story Preluding Lights. And can I just quickly say here before we begin, with this one, when this one is completely done, we're gonna have them all. Yes, once this collection of side stories rather is gonna be done here on the channel, we're pretty much gonna have everything covered when it comes to main story, side story, intermezzies, and these vignettes. We're gonna be completely done. The entire old catalog is, with this one, completely done and recorded and uploaded onto the channel. Huzzah! We did it! It's been a couple of years in the making, but we are finally here on the final step of the old catalog. And very funnily enough, as a little coinkydink, we are literally at the very same place where I started the channel off, technically. Well, it is not the first thing I uploaded onto the channel, but the very first narrated and voice acted thing that I uploaded onto the channel is sitting right here next to Preluding Lights, which is Vigilo. And I find it very funny that this coincidence occurred, that we are ending the old catalog of stuff with a story that is sitting right next to the very first story that I did. How life goes sometimes, right? But yeah, anyway, let's go over the usual before we start. First and foremost, timestamps are down in the pinned comment in the comment section below if you want to just skip to the beginning of the first story for today or any other of the stories for later. There is always provided down below. But a couple of words here before we begin. First and foremost, do you need to know anything before going into any of these vignettes? And the simplest of answers is no. These vignettes are essentially what I also called in some of the old, or rather previous recordings for these vignettes. These are pretty much operator records. Every single one of these is pretty much an operator record, just a bit longer, so to speak. The only exception here is the very first one. This Crushed Earth one is a bit different, but we're gonna go over that in a bit. But yeah, another funny coincidence is that Preluding Lights is, I think, technically also the last time we see these types of collections of stories when it comes to operators. There are two stories later. One is literally Vigilo, that is technically a collection, but there are two of these vignettes later that are essentially covering kind of like individual little stories and don't tell a cohesive story firmly enough. But Preluding Lights is technically the last one that is pretty much just a collection of operator records, so to speak. Because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, I think it was after Preluding Lights where we started getting the records for every single operator in the game, and I think it's after that, because before Vigilo I was already uploading them onto the channel, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I think that should be it. Because after this, like I just said, Vigilo is technically centered around the Doctor. It is a cohesive story from start to finish, or rather, there are cohesive stories. They're all pretty much centered around the Doctor, but still they're individual little things and can be digested individually. While pretty much everything else, excluding To Be Continued, is a story from start to finish. To Be Continued is different because it's a collection of epilogues for characters from stories, not operators. It's literally about NPCs and their happenings after their stories were over. But yeah, every single one of these after Preluding Lights, and that includes Vigilo, is pretty much a story from start to finish. And I'll be quite honest, I kind of like it better this way than this. This is fun, but at the same time, it kind of is a bit of a letdown, because, you know, these also come with their own character that you're supposed to pull with, and then you get only a certain one single little card here. Carnelian, for example, was the poster child for this one, and then you get just one little single story in here, which is about her, and that is it. instead of getting like something like I don't know, as an example, the Golden Glow story, which is a light spark in darkness, where you can actually see Golden Glow and have her interact with multiple people, get a full story from start to finish, meet other people. You know, it's way more interesting that way than having this little snippet of, hey, here's a story of 30 minutes and then you're done. Operator records make for good content, but they are, you know, not, not the very best. At least not always. There are some that will break your heart. But anyway, I digress. Let us begin with our first story for today. So, in our first part for today, we're gonna be covering Crushed Earth, Flickering Sparks, and Urban Legends. In part 2, we're gonna cover the last 3, but for now, let's begin with Crushed Earth. Only to note here, before we begin with Crushed Earth, I would say is that it covers random elements from, 2 random elements from Reunion, 2 members of Reunion, that are going out to meet a certain group of people. And the only thing you need to know is that this is taking place after Act 1. And that's pretty much it. They don't mention anything specifically from Act 1 outside of Chernobog. And yeah, that's about it. Outside of that, let's begin with our first story, Crushed Earth. Careful, walk slowly. I'm alright, don't need to prop me up. Save your strength, we're still not clear until we're over that mountain. How far are we now from Ursus? Not that far. We aren't deep in the Barrens yet. Not deep enough. Let me just breathe for a moment. Go ahead, I'll wait. What's past the mountain to the northeast? Casimir's people land, I think. But we're not going that way. This is the first time I've left Ursus. You'll get used to it. There is nothing left for us in Ursus. Whew. This place looks good enough. It's almost night. Let's set up camp here. How much do we have left in rations? We've gone through more than half the haul from the warehouse, plus what we traded for from the wandering settlement. We still have about 4 days worth. Not a whole lot. Watch our bags, I'll look for some firewood. This place is, so quiet. That's not a bad thing. We should be wary of anyone passing by, though. Call it a stroke of good luck that we came through without any trouble. Bandit groups and outlaws, packs of wild beasts. Most would say the Barrens are a fatally dangerous place to be. Can we really find our way to these Rusthammer people? There's no reason the vagabonds would trick us. There'd be no sense in tricking us. Rusthammer's people are operating nearby, that much is plenty known. Will they accept us? We can't be sure, but we have to try. Long before in the village, the soldiers all said the Rusthammers were a vicious, barbarous lot, thugs who killed for pleasure on the wastes. They all said that, and afterwards, there were people in the team who told of them too. Rumors aren't sure to be truth. Have you forgotten how those bastard noblemen spoke of us? Insatiable, ruthless reunion bandits. All the old patriarchs of horses need to do is make a bag of rumors up, and they can turn anything they don't like into man-eating monsters for the commoners. It's a customary trick of theirs. This definitely isn't like that, as far as I can see. Have you met them before? I have. It was even while I was serving. That year was the year they said the Borderland armies went into Casimir's territory plundering villages. Ah, I heard about that from someone in my own village. The captain mentioned it too. They all died after, apparently. The captain told you all that? They were Ursus regulars, a whole army platoon, armed to the teeth, bringing full sets of combat equipment past the border. There's no hope of completely fooling us about what was happening. The looting was just an excuse by the brass to shift the blame. Maybe the soldiers really did want to stir up a battle, you know. Sadly, things didn't go how they wanted. I don't know what took place in Casimir's hilled forests, but not a single one of them came back. A total annihilation, more or less. As for the truth behind why they crossed the border, they're all dead, and who cares anymore? But their death isn't solely down to the Casimir's people. That I know for sure. So, what happened? It was the 4th day the soldiers had crossed into Casimir's. A sentinel reported that a group of wastelanders entered the Ursus's own borders. Wastelanders? Back then I was stationed right at the border garrison's resupply station, and when the sentinel announced invaders, nobody in the barracks took it seriously. Though you don't often see a whole crowd of barrel-end vagabonds on their last hopes, it's not new either, especially not at the Ursus border. They sent out a little squad ready to intercept the poor saps and boost manpower a little in the jurisdiction's mines. Nothing too strange compared to their usual business. But... let me guess, that squad didn't come back? The next morning, a guard with his face coated in blood scrambled into our camp. It wasn't just the squad who got wiped out. 3 neighboring checkpoints had completely fallen too, and only he made it back out alive. The station officer at the time wasn't as stupid as now. He determined it was Casimir's soldiers disguised as barrel-end wanderers and springing attacks on checkpoints, so he immediately reported a need for reinforcements to the higher-ups. It took until then for us to realize our Originium communicators had lost all signals from allies within range, and we were sitting foul beasts on our own. After that night, after the sun set, a sound of metal beating traveled all throughout the valley, fearsome and ear-piercing, like the primitive drums of war. And then there were people. So many people, more than 100, maybe more than 1,000, carrying countless rough works of weaponry, shouting rallying cries we had no hope of understanding, charging madly into our camp. They looked like humans, yet you couldn't sense the human part of them. I thought they'd gone crazy, because even if the comrades by their sides were blown away by artillery, the pace of their assault didn't slow one bit. I'd say that's the most terrifying attack I've ever experienced. Forget Reunion's countless battles afterwards, none of them could compare to that evening of insanity. They only retreated once first light finally came over the valley. Innumerous corpses piled all around the camp, bloodstains and marks from Originium Art's bombardment everywhere. The whole day through, the air was filled with a smell of rust so thick you could vomit. That's just too excessive. Why? Why attack the Ursus army with no regard for the cost? What was their goal? That's the crucial bit. After a few days, a backup unit finally made it. It was only then we learned that 2 infected mines nearby had been totally plundered. They set everyone in the mines free and burned down 5 whole military supply warehouses in the area. They hacked up the officers and mine overseers they caught and tore every Ursus flag and landmark they found to shreds. Rusthammer washed off the traces of Ursus and left behind not a single mark in the ruins. What was most important was the unlucky lot who galvanated into Casimir's land had practically lost all of their rear reinforcements. Once the Ursus army had reacted, it was already too late. Even now I still can't comprehend their lunatic conduct. But wasteland scum who slaughter for pleasure wouldn't raid the Ursus army in order to free the poor people in the mines. They are not normal thugs, I'm certain of that. That story really is hard to believe, right? I still have no way to tell if it would be a correct choice to join them. Even someone of Mr. Patriot's caliber got... Don't think about it. Let's just go to sleep. There'll always be a way. Maybe. We're here. This is where we were looking for? Straight north from the second peak, on top of a massive upright boulder. I didn't imagine it would actually be here. A rust-speckled iron hammer is stuck upside down in a boulder on a peak. The black rag tied to the handle like a flag fluttering wild in the wind. If you wish to join us, then search for the rust hammer in the rent-apart rock. This group likes a bit of dramatic delivery, huh? This isn't dramatics, this is a symbol. If you want to live on the Barrens, you must be like this hammer. You don't need to be sharp, but you do need to be tenacious. You don't resemble ordinary passerby. I recognize the symbol on your clothes. Reunion. Speak. Tell us why you sought us. You don't look like you're infected. I thought... We want to join the Rusthammers. Join? Weak, timid, fearful, helpless. You're scared of everything upon the Barrens, shivering like livestock awaiting slaughter. Here, pick these up. What are these? A shovel? And pick? And a beast trap? What do you mean by this? Why give these tools to us? You want to join the Rusthammers? Then prove yourselves. What? Prove you belong to the Wastes. Prove you are livestock incapable of surviving beyond their pen. We are warriors. We are the Wasteland's conquerors. We look after each other. We share everything of ours. But we will not care for unbearably weak trash. See that gorge over there? It's a kind of place to be, the kindest all around here. In the gorge is everything you need. Survive for a month here. If even that's beyond you, then head straight back where you came as soon as you can. Survive? For a month? In a place like this? You've got to be freaking kidding me! Surviving on the Barrens with just these? If you just wanted to watch us die, why make it so complicated? Wouldn't it be so much easier to do it right here? You're just going to laugh at us while we die on the Barrens. Is this some kind of hobby of yours? Or is persecuting the infected one of your joys too? And I thought you weren't like the other bandits, you bunch of... Infected? Infected? Persecute the infected? Boone! Come on over, take a look at this moron. While the Grand Rusthammer man laughs wildly, a hunched-over man appears from behind the crag, the Originium crystals terrifyingly ugly on his skin. The man's forceful gaze pierces through his untamed hair, sizing up the person before him. Look, Boone! Do you see? These are your infected comrades. Bullshit. I have no comrades this week. Your reunion too? Here, nobody cares whether you're infected or not. Nobody cares what kind of special rank you have. Nobody freaking cares. Man, woman, old, young, Sarkas. Reunion, fallen noble, as long as you embrace the wilderness, got away from the poisoned blood of civilization, we are all equal. Just 1 month, was it? Illa? That's right. If you can hold out for 1 month, that'll show you're part of the Wastes. That you've broken free of civilization's fetters. Once the time comes, you'll be a part of the Barrenlands, and our Rusthammer brothers and sisters will welcome you. Alright, it's a deal. Not a bad attitude. I have great faith in you. I wish you good luck, young lady. Ila, are you serious? We don't have much choice, do we? No. We still have rations. We can go back. Go back to that vagrant village. Think of another way. Don't mess with me. We never had that much in supplies. You haven't eaten for 2 days, I've noticed that. We're comrades in arms, aren't we? Comrades have to look after each other, right? These rust hammers, they're able to survive here. Perhaps we can do the same. I suppose. Lend me a hand. We'll find a place to set up camp first. "15 days later. Why isn't it moving? Shh, don't make a sound. It took the bait. And I feel it's about to run. Calmly, wait for it. Wait. It moved. Just a bit more, just a bit more. We caught it! We caught it! Oh, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Ira, pass me the knife. Here it is. There really were burden beasts here. This is my first time seeing one wild. With all this meat, we can smoke it, dry it in a cave, and it'll keep for a while. At least for the next long while. We won't have to eat dried sandworm. I'm not sure if that wandering village is still around. What made you think of it suddenly? Even if we smoked this meat, we wouldn't finish it. Maybe we could trade it with those wasteland wanderers for some supplies. Like a couple seeds or something. Has anything happened with these mosots? Listen to you. Have you never planted anything before in your life? I haven't. I was born in the city. My little city friend, food is hardly that easy to grow. You'll want to properly learn. Who's a little friend? You're barely older than me. Whatever, I'm dropping it. Those wanderers barely ever stop in one place, but there should be a few settlements below the mountain to the east. If we have the chance, we can go and take a look. Come over here. Let's take all this back in. Alright. 13, 14, 15... Still half a month to go. I hope those rust hammers mean what they say. But I feel like now it doesn't matter whether we have them or not. I've been feeling more and more like we can survive. I've actually wondered the whole time, why would there be a cave like this in a gorge? It doesn't seem naturally formed either. I'm betting this was an ancient mine. A mine? In this completely desolate area? Was it the Casimir's? Can't say it's either Casimir's or Ursus for sure. Can't even be sure if it's a country we're familiar with. Before, when I was in the army, someone told me all these ancient stories. They said that centuries ago, millennia ago, Ursus wasn't yet Ursus, Casimir wasn't yet Casimir's, and so many countries were emerging across the land, growing, becoming strong. And in the end, once again, because of war, catastrophe, or some other reason, they were destroyed and fell to pieces. Catastrophes repeatedly swept the earth, any trace of these countries' existence cleaned up along with them. Everything we can find was left underground, just like this mine, for example. They say loads of other places all have ancient remnants like this. So that means these places weren't always barren lands, but were once towns and cities where people lived? Maybe. If we keep living in here and get more and more people like us, we might just be able to set up a small town or something. This gorge goes south to north. It could hold plenty of people. And then I'd be Mayor Illa, and you'd be Deputy Mayor Gareth. Alright, enough daydreaming. Help me hang up the meat. Alright. "29 days later. Gareth! Gareth! God, is it so early? Quick, come look! The Mossauts! Oh, are these buds? They are! Great, great! Oh, that's amazing! So we can plant grains here after all! I'm guessing the burden beast bone powder played a part. Alright, let me see. What was the most important thing again? Water! We won't have enough relying on that mountain creek. We'll need to think of some other way. But, there's no other springs anywhere nearby. Our only options to head to the foot of the mountain east and try our luck. There's trees there, which means there's a water source. But that's too far away. Would we be carrying water every day? It's far, but it's worth it. If those Mossauts can grow properly, then it'll be worth it. Let's sort out things out, and we'll head to the woods to look. It seemed to be pretty close. I didn't think it was so far. We'll need to think of something later on. Figure out an even bigger container. It's not realistic to carry just with water pouches. Hold on. What is this? Are these footprints? There's other people nearby. Footprints? What footprints? No, these are army footprints. I recognize the sole markings anywhere. These are Ursa's army boots. But what are Ursa's soldiers doing here? What do we do? Let's hurry back, get our things in order. We need to leave this place. These marks, they haven't gone too far, and there's at least 20 of them by these footprints. Wait, we have other options too. If we don't light a fire, they won't be sure to notice the cave in the gorge. They'll find us sooner or later. Even if we don't light fires, what's the use of us hiding in the cave day after day? We don't even know if they'll leave or not. They've come to get me. I knew the colonel wouldn't let me off so easily. No, I'm not leaving. Illa! Where would we even run to? I'm already sick of running. I joined Reunion so I could live with some semblance of self-respect at all. Life this past month has been tough, undoubtedly. But what does it matter that it's tough? There's no taxman, no nobles. There's prey in the forest, Mossauts in the ground, all of my own. This whole month I've lived like a person, and not like some beast just dragging out its life. Illa, calm down a little, listen to me. As long as we're still alive, we can always find some place that belongs to us, and if we die, we'll have nothing at all. Don't tell me every time we run, we have to abandon everything that's already ours. Why should I let those wretches destroy my life again and again? First my village's people, my little sister, then Charla, the captain. I'm not going anywhere today. If today I die, then I'm dying in this gorge. Everything in here was our painstaking work. This is my new home. I'm not going anywhere. Illa. Stay here, Gareth. Let's fight them. We're warriors of Reunion. We're not cowards. You're right. These goddamn sons of bitches. These bastard nobles and Colonel Lemono. Damn them all. Damn them all to hell. Good. Excellent. You finally resemble the spitting image. It's you. Why were you nearby the whole time? You were to survive on the Barrens for a month. All I did was check in daily to see if you were still good and going. Forget it for now. There's Ursus nearby. Don't get too wound up. All I'm hearing is a few party little annoyances. Then, have we qualified? Qualified? You're a summer already, sister. And you, though you came just short of your willpower crumbling, I'm very happy to see you chose the right path. Compromise and escape are never ending. Remember that. Welcome, brother. Now, as well as that, a group of idiotic prey are heading straight for the beast trap. You shouldn't miss this. Prey? What prey? They're here. I knew there'd be people in this gorge. You really have given me the runabout, you know, Corporal Gareth. You shameful deserter. You even dared mingle in just to steal food supplies from the army warehouse. Did you truly believe you could trample on the Ursus's army dignity and then so vainly flee? Colonel Lemona's very angry, particularly angry. Only lopping off your head can quell his fury now. Time to pay for your crimes, you infected scum. Black-clothed Ursus brutes, 24 of them. Huh, I see you're quite merry with these flesh-tearing savages. Surely you don't think a couple of Battleland natives can save your lovely lives? Now kneel and off yourself. I can promise you a death in one piece. Snipers, ready. The masked Rusthammer warrior uses the weapon in his clutch to beat the ground. One sound. Two sounds. 3. In the next second, the entire ravine echoes with an ear-piercing, pounding, chaotic yet resounding clear. Battle cries roars together with a chill gust that blows through the ravine, like the great land itself has let out a primeval scream. At this instant, Gareth sees it. Upon the cliffs and ledges of the gorge's two sides stand wild warriors, packed together. Their clothing ragged, adorned in worn metal forged into crude armor. Their postures twisted, grasping simple but fearsomely shaped weapons. Captain, how many is this? How could this be? What about the sentinel? Where did the sentinel go? If you're looking for your sentinel, then right here. These helmets, weapons, how could you possibly... My brother and sister, welcome to the Wastelands. This is your first hunt since joining the Rusthammers. I'm glad of the chance to join in the battle. Battle? Sister, we never battle. As more and more Rusthammer warriors show themselves, the Ursus soldiers are stunned, not daring to make a move. When they begin to speak, all the 24 can do is stand there silently. The so-called countries and civilizations display from the root their evil, their colossal nomadic cities, their ugly steel creations, their metal fetters and cells cast from malice, are the sinister proof of their sin. They have stolen everything. They have plundered this world's minerals, seized its water and land, and taken it all for their own. They claim that only faith in civilization can bring salvation, that everything not bound by their shackles has been stamped by a barbarous seal. They fear the truth, and we will return the truth to the land. They use force to make you afraid, they use civilization to make you feeble. They gave you no choice but to rely on their baselessly invented order. No choice but to trap yourself in the cage. And so they enslave you, who by all rights ought to be free, and so they swallow you. This world ought to belong to everyone. Everyone should, like you and I and everyone else, take a place in these wastelands with our two hands. The wasteland will eliminate the weak, but when traced to the source, just who was it that made the people of the world weak? You must become their nightmares, become their calamity, become the force that destroys them. Who can shackle and manacle a hurricane, an earthquake, and who can imprison a thunderclap, a lightning bolt within a cage? We never battle, we destroy. We pulverize the cage, we destroy the fetters, we plunder back that which was stolen, and those willing to abandon weakness may all become Rusthammer brothers and sisters. Destroy, 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 destroy. The chaotic yet resounding metal pounding echoes through the whole gorge. They shout, strike the earth with the handle of their weapons, the collision of metal and rock as if thunder rolling through the dark. Destroy, 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 destroy. Have no fear, they're just a bunch of lunatics. Get into formation, prepare for battle. They tremble, they fear us. We destroy, we hunt. Cast away the fetters of civilization, we will never be weak again. Catastrophes sweep the wastelands. Rusthammers, smash the world! Yes, the Rusthammers. What a group. I do hope in some capacity we're gonna get a bit more presence of them in the future, besides all of these tiny little elements that need to be gathered from all of these stories and character stories and whatever the hell from all over the place into just one cohesive story about them. They're a cool and interesting group, which doesn't fuck around, as noticed right there. And yeah, screw those Ursus guys. Anyway, I do hope we're gonna get more of them in the future. But for now, let's continue on with our second story for today, which is Flickering Sparks. A story that might have Heavyrain on the cover art, but she's very little part of the story, sadly. But it's time for me to become very theatrical. Let's go. This place will no longer shelter you. Begone, dear warrior, turn about and flee. Your pitiful destiny is already set in stone. You have no place in this world any longer. Indeed, your existence has no meaning for us anymore. Thus the warrior fled, she who never once trembled in fear under the thundering of the enemy's drums, who never faltered against the roars of her cruel opponents, turned and ran. Arknights, a region in Minos bordering Sargon, comprised of many villages. Days of unending rain would sicken even the most tenacious of young warriors. Not to mention this pitiable fellow sunken to the darkest depths of despair. What sort of experiences would have forced her to leave her home at such a young age? What happened to her, such that her heart would ache in sadness whenever she looks back at her homeland? She wishes no one to know. Go on, flee, head to that unknown land. Yet what's the situation? Just stopped moving. She's been struggling there for 2 hours already. Moved about 10 meters since we found her. If she really was a competent spy, she'd be playing dead to conserve her energy instead of drawing our attention like this. It could also all be an act, to play on the Minoans' sympathy and lower their guards. Yes, the Minoans would have trouble ignoring such a weight on their conscience. What do you think of this foreign warrior, and what she's done? Just a trick. She's definitely acting. You know it's Sargon's fault, their tricks and lies that these villages took so long to. That's a different conversation. I want you to take a closer look at her. Set aside your suspicions and look at her. See her innocence. I appreciate your concern for the villagers' safety. Whether it comes from a good place or not, you need only tell me, warriors of Sarkas, how fares the outsider now? In short, she's at death's door. Looks like she was crossing over from Sargon, judging by her weapon and equipment. Now she just looks like a fish out of water, struggling helplessly on Minoan soil.
Is she alone?
So far she is, though that might change later.
If that's the case...
Hey, priestess, Pallas.
What is it?
It's not my job to say what's what, but since the Minoans hired me and appointed you to take command, I'll just remind you. You're not a normal nurse, but neither are you a naive priestess who knows nothing but sympathy and forgiveness. You're the commander of the Minoans, mentor to the budding warriors, the so-called goddess worshipped by all these Minoan villages. If you take her in, everyone must treat her with the same amount of respect and devotion that they give to you. After all, you were the one who found her. Yet this little warrior is without the slightest hint of doubt of Sargon. Until there is peace with Sargon, she remains an enemy of Minoans, one they have to stay wary of.
Warrior, your words carry your intentions well, and reveal the breadth of your knowledge. I listen out of respect and duty. But as you know, there exists a divide between your judgment and mine. It is a saddening reality, but it is one we must face. I am indeed considering taking her in, and treating her wounds at the least. Hers is a young life, one hanging by a thread, and I believe she means us no harm. As for whether thousands of Sargon soldiers lurk behind her shadow, that is for you to determine. In the absence of danger, we may not fall upon the ongoing war as an excuse to abandon another's life.
Oh, pointless.
So many think this a pointless act. This is why I let the others return to their duties while you remain here watching over her. Sarkas, oh poor Sarkas, your callous demeanor is known far and wide, and you rely on it for survival. In other words, many among you take pride in your indifference. One must yield to one's proficiencies. I give my orders based on this principle. You need only ensure your mission is completed. As for other matters, they will be resolved one way or the other.
Since you refuse to change your mind even after listening to me, wouldn't it be the same if someone else was looking after her?
You've been working as a mercenary here for 3 months now. I'm sure you're aware of the situation. If it were left to the Minoans, this would be over in 10 minutes, much less 2 hours. Their guilt would gnaw at those pure hearts of theirs, bidding them to lend a hand regardless of the danger. In such a scenario, how badly shaken would those sincere hearts of theirs be, if that betrayal really came to fruition?
Huh. In the end, even you admit that those villagers are way too soft-hearted to value the life of a potential enemy.
I understand you, Sarkas. Some of the villagers have accepted you, and the elders view you as one of our own. You have their goodwill to thank for that. However, your needs do not lay there, between love, or at least this love that exists between we of different races, and the payment of money that you receive. You do not believe that it is worthless.
There is nothing to discuss about that.
You live life your own way, and I have never questioned that. But I think that Sarka's demeanor I mentioned, perhaps you were like that once, when we first met. You harbored a kindness not altogether pure, and a heart not completely vile. Yet that has changed. Your interactions with the Minoan soldiers and the villagers have spurred your thoughts. You have become an intelligent warrior brandishing your weapon of your own free will. Your vigilance is warranted. It's just that I believe Sargon has no reason to attack right now, and neither is there a need to use such crude bait. Rather than formulating a trap to prey on others' kindness, the Sargon's troops would be far more willing to march in brashly, declaring their cruel intentions to plunder and slaughter for all to hear.
Right. Let's just go with what you said.
For now, let us turn our eyes to this young warrior whose wandered over from Sargon. Just as you said, though, I wish to save her. Just as you warned, it would be far from prudent to simply bring her back to the villages. She has no visibly open wounds, and it does not seem to be any complex disease that would require surgery. I will attempt to treat her wounds. The consequences of this will be mine to bear.
You mean you want me to put up a tent here so you can treat her wounds? In this place not even 2 kilometers from the border. Even the garrison is further away.
Well, there is not much difference with the garrison anyway.
Don't forget your place. You're the villagers' beacon of hope, the one who will free them from the threat of Sargon. They love you and call you the goddess of victory, yet here you are taking such risks.
Watch your words, soldier. A young woman whose guilt is yet unproven, who has waited for over 2 hours, struggling to keep herself awake, all for the sake of survival. She has already passed your test. As the keenest and most vigilant Sarkas, you are unable to bring out solid evidence of her duplicity. And so my heart is already filled with guilt. I cannot bear to leave her any longer.
Don't object, if you really insist on it, but it's hard to say if that girl will even talk to you like this after she wakes up. Just be prepared for an attack once she wakes up. At this moment, the young Sargon warrior is suffering in her dreams. She drags her body onward with naught but sheer determination, but in the end her vision disappears in a fog of darkness. As she loses herself within the rest that has long eluded her, she is wrapped in a blanket of warmth. Yet this warmth is unfamiliar to her, and she remains vigilant even in her dreams. Thus she escapes from her dreamland, escapes the trap of comfort, escapes the warmth touch to her on her skin.
Who? Ah, you're awake. Calm down. You've been sleeping for quite a long time.
The Coranta soldier immediately rises, swiftly inspecting her surroundings. The narrow space contains only herself, the Forte woman, and some scattered items.
I understand. You're looking for your weapon, yes. Here it is.
The Coranta soldier snatches the weapon. With seemingly no hesitation, she swings the flail towards the Forte. The narrow space limits her movement. The weapon catches on the surrounding canvas, making a dull thud. The Forte woman remains at the bedside without a trace of surprise on her face.
Decisive and orderly moves. Mystery woman, I can tell you are a well-trained soldier, confident in your own strength. Unfortunately, this place is not fit for combat. Answer my questions and do nothing else, or my flail and shield will smash you. All right. I shall do naught but answer your questions till you're satisfied. Where are we? In my tent, to treat your injuries. A place of rest is needed. Save it. Where is this tent? Who else is here? Our soldiers, Minuans. Alama, how did I end up with the Minuans? You arrived from Sargon, collapsing on the Minuan side of the border. When the soldiers found you, you were still determinedly inching forward. This is Minuan land. I've packed your possessions. They're by your feet. You must have been extremely hungry and tired, not being aware that your compass had malfunctioned as you struggled to make your way here, and that all your navigation equipment was damaged. As you can hear, there are only Minuan soldiers outside. You are alone, and it would be unwise to force a discussion using violence. This would depend on the manner in which you wish to leave this tent. We may come to an agreement, and you can leave this tent assured of your safety. You may also refuse to negotiate and leave immediately, foolish as that may be. Can you prove that? I am a priestess. The villagers and soldiers will follow my orders, out of respect to their faith. I know well enough to know none of that is true. This place is in the midst of a war with the tribes of Sargon. If your home isn't far from here, you should have heard of this. We are near a Crotty? Absolutely. Well then, visitor of Sargon, how may I address you? Don't ask. Oh, this is a rather unfair exchange then, at least in regards to me.
The Kuranta soldier furrows her brows, as if trying to clear her thoughts and scrutinize her situation.
Just now, you said that after I fainted on Minoan land, you'd been treating my injuries all this while? Compared to the cold interrogation you would face with the soldiers, they may at least be a chance to come to an agreement with me instead. An agreement? An agreement with you, young Sargon soldier. Appearing suddenly by the border, hungry and disheveled, with no trace of any pursuit, I had come to the conclusion that perhaps you were not, in fact, an enemy at all. I recall that the Lord Amir here doesn't have a particularly good reputation. The war is between you and them. Don't drag me into it. I'm just passing through. Aha! As I thought! In that case, pray lower your weapon, innocent one. I wish for a conversation between equals here, at least until I have fully expressed my sincerity. You're pretty hard to understand with the way you speak. Oh, the warriors complain about it from time to time, but it has never been my intention. In fact, I used to be called the most approachable priestess in all the Hall of Heroes. In any case, I don't want to meet your soldiers, officers, or anyone really. I'm no longer in service to Sargon anyway. I just want to leave quickly. I don't really care about anything else. All right. If so... Innocent warrior, young as you are, you have barely traversed the dense forest to arrive here. Will you not lay down your weapon and have some food? I'm fine. Don't waste your energy standing up. You need not worry, for I am the village's priestess and will only be helping to treat your wounds here. Until we come to an acceptable agreement and leave this tent, neither I nor those outside will act against you. I've already said that there's nothing to discuss. I can't bear it, I'm too hungry. Please state your hunger, unnamed traveler. Though your weapons remain pristine, your body is overly taxed. It would be unbearable to one such as you, who trains strictly in the path of the warrior. You may not have had much interaction with Minoans prior, or you may have merely heard rumors. In Minos, our soldiers take neither a single step forwards nor backwards until ordered. I do request your understanding, as some precautions still need to be taken against you during this period of wartime. It's just that the Minoan soldiers are all extremely polite. Might you save me then? It's probably an ingrained virtue, as we sometimes allow objective and rational decisions to accommodate kindness still. Then, what is that weapon there for? Ah, yes, you wield a similar weapon to mine. Of course you would notice. I knew it. No, please allow me to explain. Firstly, innocent guest, your weapon appears to be of exceptional craftsmanship. I believe it is the work of an esteemed Sargon craftsman. You must have cherished and trained with it often, so please look. I believe you can determine how this weapon of mine has been used, or perhaps how proficient I really am. You see, just as you harbor suspicions toward me, so too did I doubt your identity. But just look at you now. Your deep exhaustion is etched on your face, and both your equipment and supplies have been run as ragged as you are. Most importantly, your weapon shows no sign of recent damage. You have not been in a battle for quite some time. Based on this, I have no reason to fear you. So in the end, we are still gonna fight. Oh, definitely not. I will not be using that as a bargaining chip in our discussion. In fact, I will lay my own weapon on the floor. Observe, dear traveler from Sargon. Please feel free to partake in this nutritious food. I am fully convinced that you are unrelated to our true enemies. In consideration to our current state, this free and delicious meal should not be left for too long, regardless of any choice you may make later on.
Oh, finally out, huh?
Sarkas,
What, my horn's alone enough to scare you?
you...
The look of fear and disgust. I've been judged at a glance to them many times.
I seek your forgiveness, brave warrior. Your existence is not at fault.
I'm sure you think so, priestess. But what about her? She won't listen to you.
Priestess, you said that there were Minuans standing guard outside.
They went for lunch a while ago. They'll probably be drinking wine, singing and reciting poetry right after too. So they got me to help stand guard here.
It appears that my admonishments were still not taken seriously. I had wanted to show you the magnanimity of the Minuan soldiers. Probably better this way. I'll be leaving immediately. I don't want to loiter around your battlefield. Oh, are you leaving now, fearless traveler? The famous village of Akroti is but a stone's throw away. You might find it worth your while to pay a visit. No. Even if there are theaters and cinemas, there's also a really good Minuan restaurant. No, thank you. There's also our warrior's favorite baths. Bath?
Forget it, mixed gender bath.
No way. You can also use the small bath reserved for the priestess. For a traveler on such a long and varied journey as you, taking a well-deserved rest is... I said no. I'm not traveling. It's better if I'm not seen. I have a bad feeling about this. I'm leaving. We're still too close to Sargon. But it's so rare to see so rustic and pitiful a foreign youth. Huh?
Ignore her. It's been a long time since she left the big city she used to live in. She's probably going insane from having to stay in this backwater for so long. It's pretty amazing you can stand that tone of hers. The villages of Akroti are not safe for you. If you are running from something and want to avoid trouble, you should probably leave now.
However, foreigner, where lies your destination? To be traveling in such a harried state, could it be that you committed some unspeakable crime, or perhaps insulted an important noble? No, I'm just a mercenary, and I'm free. My destination doesn't matter, as long as I get further away. To the north and further to the east, this place, I will not survive long here. Deserts, battlefields, Sargon, I don't want to face any of these right now. A pitiful youth who shoulders the terrible weight of her painful past. Please at least leave your name so that I may pray for you, whether it be strength to face the dangers ahead or guidance to the place you may find happiness. Are these prayers any good for people from Sargon?
I don't believe in it, for what it's worth. Pallas stomps his foot on that. Pallas!
Pallas? This blame for exposing me lies with you, Sarkas warrior. It is not a name worth remembering, at least for now. Although there are such stories, on the border of Minos, a priestess bears the revelations of the 12 heroes arriving to protect the honor and freedom of the Minuans, taking up the fight against Sargon's invasions and always able to clutch victory from the jaws of defeat. Never heard of them. Well, I suppose the war has not yet been won. Apologies, I had no intention of declaring that name. I only hope that these myths of Minos may spread to Sargon as well, such that we can come to understand each other better. You should save those words for the next visitor from Sargon passing by. Fine. It seems that besides wishing you well, there's nothing else we can do for you, traveler from Sargon. I will gift you this working compass. Though you know not where you are going, you must continue moving onwards. That is the only goal you have now, and the only way to escape your suffering. To move onwards is a choice, one must be miraculous. I believe that you will receive much help on your journey, traveler. When the next kindly person appears, one who can devote their energies to you, one who can save you from the most dangerous of mountains, one who can help you escape the clutches of death, you may make your choice then, or even decide to accompany them.
Hey, watch out, priestess. What if those sufferings you just mentioned really happened to her? The things you say are oddly profound at times.
Forget it. It doesn't really matter. Maybe the destination of this journey is the journey itself. I will pray for you, young lady. The road you tread stretches far, very far indeed. You are a warrior, a brave, persevering warrior. Your bravery is etched on your weapon, etched on your limbs, etched on your very soul. Though your eyes are hazy now, a strong rain will wash it all away, and your vision will be clear once more. I apologize for not being able to devote myself to the task of earning your trust. We all have the same, more important things to do. I'm still suspicious of you. You, me, and that adorable Sarkas warrior. We are all on a journey without a destination, struggling and suffering to move onwards for the sake of our souls, even as we seek that one thing we must experience, that most important thing, to find a place for ourselves.
Hey, time to change shifts. Right. Hey, Sarkas. What? Shouldn't you tell us your name by now, or do you really want to go by Sarkas? A name's just a name. You call your priestess goddess. She calls herself Priestess Pallas. Does that really make her so? Well, whatever. Though, after we win this war, the only name you'll be leaving to the legends would be Sarkas then. Let's see if we even survive. You're pretty confident, Minoan. It's not really important whether I'm hailed as a hero in history. As long as I'm a Sarkas, as long as I'm treated as a Sarkas no matter what I do, it's not too bad to be fighting alongside heroes. Priestess Pallas, what are you doing here?
Ah, Mr. Sarkas.
Don't call me that. Why are you standing night watch? Did something happen?
Not something to mobilize the masses, I hope. It's just that today's events have been weighing heavily on me. I have had an urge to come here, to find the answers I seek.
But are you still thinking about that Sargon Kuranta soldier? What's so special about her?
No, it's exactly the opposite. She's normal through and through. She's normal, yet she hurries along, as if running away from some evil spirit while keeping everyone at arm's length. She does not seem predisposed to such behavior. I would presume that a great change has occurred recently, one that has left her despondent. Mr. Sarkas, what do you think could have happened?
No idea. I don't share your interest in going through people's life stories. I only need to know what you're doing here. You act as if you want me to do something, while also looking like you're just loitering around. Tell me what's on your mind, Mercurial Goddess. Shh. The circus mercenary grabs his blade. Who's there?
It's just as you said, Mr. Sarkas. It's difficult to discern one's heart, and my fateful encounter with our Kuranta visitor was sadly lacking in depth. Even so, you and I have witnessed her fragility. Her fortitude is bent and broken, and she is at her most vulnerable right now. There isn't much we can do for her, with a good breakfast being the greatest courtesy we can offer. Even so, that poor Kuranta soldier, her only pursuit right now is the power to grasp her own fate, to choose a destination of her own, or to end it on her own terms. No matter what, she possesses the same goal as ourselves, to search for freedom. That is our mission. Try as I may, I am unable to imagine how wild it must be, that evil spirit behind the loss of her freedom. I never believed I would face such a saddening scene. Ah, Mr. Sarkas, do you weep for such a tragedy? As things are now, perhaps I should make my warning clear in advance, so that the approaching battle will reach a more direct conclusion. Malling one, you are different from the earlier traveler. Your body reeks of the stench of blood and evil. You have a cruel plan, and the target is one much weaker than you. You wish to carry out a murder, a hunt, a dirty plan to brag about upon this holy land of Minos. This I will never allow.
Without warning, a shadow leaps out of the dark night and rushes towards the Minoan priestess. In an instant, his attack is blocked by an opposing blade. The attacker immediately falls back. Stand aside, my kid. This obnoxious priestess who keeps rambling on about insane topics annoys me. It seems that you didn't understand her words, which is to say, you don't know why she's so unhappy right now. I have my own task. I believe it should have nothing to do with you. She seems to want to stop me from finding a Kuranta soldier. I can see that she's been anticipating a battle since before I tracked the clues here. Since she wants to protect my target, she must die. What are you doing here then? I'm working as a soldier, helping the Minoans here. Ah, we are not enemies then. We both have a job to do, so let's go our own ways. Is that witch's life part of your responsibilities? That's not something you need to think about. Indeed, every swing of my blade has a price, and I have no reason to waste my energy here. Unless that absurd speech of hers has displeased me. Maybe I want to drag her horns along to point a faster path to that Kuranta soldier. I haven't guessed wrongly, have I, witch?
What an uncultured and ill-mannered beast. You view yourself as a dirty blade and refuse all counsel. Is that really the case?
That's enough. Kinsman, I have no quarrel with you. Close one eye and leave, if you know what's good for you. The assassin prepares to strike at the priestess. However, the mercenary steps in front of her, not moving an inch. Oh, what's this? You're a Sarkas. You really think that you'll be treated as an honored bodyguard, with nothing but the blessings of the Minoans? Nothing to do with the priestess. I just think that you've lived a really sad life. Don't tell me you've never done such things. Frankly, you're no match for me.
Nay, ruthless intruder, wicked pursuer. It is because of that blind arrogance of yours that you will lose. Heroes do not await death meekly. Moreover, heroes do not stand aside as monsters chase their prey about. Blinded by money and power as you are, you have already forgotten how shameful it is to persecute and kill.
Whatever you say, if you really have the stuff, I'll stop after cutting off one of your horns. To be honest, I think my talents are being wasted on a simple deserter. Wouldn't I get a nicer reward if I brought back a minion head?
Since you have cursed and insulted me so, I no longer hold the slightest bit of remorse for that devil-bewitched heart of yours. For the sake of that Kuranta traveler's safety, I will not let you leave alive, cruel assassin. Pitiful, tragic Sarka's warriors, your once chaotic hearts are no longer the same. You have each stepped on vastly different paths.
There's only one ending for Sarkas. Salvation does not exist. Just shut up, witch. Come!
This battle in a dark night was never recorded in the annals of history. Some souls continue running, becoming ever purer in their journey of life. In time, they will shine with the brightest light. In time, these sparks of light will gather aboard the traveling Rhode Island, becoming a glorious blaze that moves ever onwards.
Well then, I will not lie, doing a Palas impression was was a bit fun. And again, a story set, even though we were barely on the border of it, a story set in a place that I would love to see more of. I mean, come on, Arknights Greece? Please? All the Greek words and proverbs I would probably have to learn. Oh, damn. Actually, I haven't even thought about that. Oh, damn, I would probably have to learn a lot of them. Anyway. Would be still fun. And I do hope, once again, that we're gonna have a story in the future in Minos. Please, for the love of... But yeah, anyway. That was Flickering Sparks. For now, let's go into our third and final story for this part, which is Urban Legends. And yes, for once, this one will be featuring the very character that is on the front quite a lot, plus a very adorable other one. But let's begin. Rhode Island Landship. Common rest area passageway.
Annie's off playing somewhere again. And she didn't even bring me. I'll sort it out in short order. Oh, a fork in the road. This way or that way? Oh, forget it. Let's go with the old standby.
She brings out a Victorian coin.
Benna, oh, lost Miss Prim. Where to go? Just listen to him. Here comes Sir Barkley. The way is his whim. Here.
She tosses the coin and picks up the coin.
This way all the way, then. Very well. I can't believe there were spots this wonderful, and Iris never once mentioned them to me. She clearly doesn't know Rhode Island as well as she says, does she? Aha! Found you! Annie, you little...
Annie urges Benna to whisper. She points at the person in front of the TV.
Psst, what's she up to? Playing a game. A game? Aren't games supposed to be like chess and swings and building sandcastles and other such things? Is this a game too? Oh. Did you just see a shadow pull someone off the screen into an alleyway? My word, grandmother would be furious if she knew we were watching this sort of thing. Now... I do slightly want to play. Aha! I knew it! No wonder I couldn't find you. Why don't you put a word in with the nice lady then? That'll scare her.
Will it?
It will.
Then you'll just have to allow me. After all, my play is your play.
Yes. More power to you.
Oh, Annie, do you think I ought to put on a bit of a show here?
Yes.
Very well, as you wish.
Almost at the final part. Still don't know if I can manage the true end. I've gotten every collectible and every route according to the guides. Last step. Beat the forced lost boss. I tried it while I was getting all the ending medals earlier and couldn't pull it off. I heard there was another phase transition to it, but I don't know if I can make it.
Hey, can you hear me? She takes off the headphones.
Hello. Did you need something? Uh-oh, I'm not good with kids. This won't end well.
What are you doing, miss?
Playing a game.
A game? I love games too. Can I play with you?
Are all little kids so pushy these days? Crap, what do I even do? Can she actually play? Even if I'm way into the endgame right now and every enemy sucks to beat? I'm gonna feel terrible if she has a bad time and just drops the controller.
Do you not like to play with others?
Is she about to cry? No. We can play.
Thank you, miss. You're the best.
That's alright. Haven't I seen this kinda now weird friend scene in a dating sim before? Whatever. I can just start a fresh run in a bit since I've got the whole route down. Why not let her have a go? No, wait. This is an action horror suspense game with
that
and
that
and
that.
What was the rating? D or Z? I can't be letting a kid play this.
Miss?
Why don't we swap to another game then? This one might be a little...
I want to play this one. Can I?
Please pick up what I'm putting out. If you're 100% sure, then it's not like you technically can't, but...
Really? Thanks, miss.
For what?
Do you use this control gadget to play?
That's, I meant...
And you press on these buttons. Wow, a monster appeared. What an impressive gaping mouth. How fearsome.
Just let me have the controller for a sec. Pause menu, settings, game options, turn off blood SFX. And most importantly, disturbing content off.
Why's the white mouth fiend become so hazy?
Don't worry about it. Here's the controller.
Alright, thank you, miss.
This kid seems alright, aside from being so, forward. She talks sense and she's sweet. If all my friends were that polite when I was young, I wonder if maybe I'd be Ryaju material now, like Utage. Don't get carried away, Kirara. Like heck.
Huh. Ha! Hey!
She's almost to the final set-piece battle. Come to think of it, I just taught her how to use a controller. And I only figured that combo out not too long ago. How'd she learn it? Could I have unleashed a dormant gamer god? Is there finally someone who could help me clear the secret set piece in Tokoden 2 Tachibana edition? Can't be sure yet. Let's see if she can get past the set piece in Nukenin's hidden route first. Savara the Silentius. Pretty tough to beat.
Oh, there's an animation.
Here it is, the nighttime psychic crossing.
Why can I hack my way through? I may be meant to flee.
That's why people love Ringo software. The way they connect and guide you through the levels is so well done. It clicks even for the littlest kids. How are there still monsters on the road? How obnoxious! No rush, take it slow. Careful, there'll be monsters from the car ahead and the store's tree side. Right. For this set piece, you want to use these street lamps to stall the big guy, if you can't afford the tank, and then you can sort out the mob. Use that big tornado move to clear them away a little. But don't use it too much, save some SP for the set piece. Can't you understand what I'm even saying? Step over here and then like that. Seems she does. This is a dead end. But it's got some room to maneuver. You're in the set piece battle now. That one's usually invincible, but you can sack an item from your inventory at him and his invulnerable disappears. Which one? This one, the Sachet of Consecration, equipped to your inventory, then just use it like anything else. Do I take aim at him? You've got one chance. Very well. How did I hit? The invul barrier is gone. Now slam him with everything you've got. Very well. What speed? You can not lose, okay? You only get to do this once per save, and losing means doing the whole thing over again.
15 minutes later.
What do I do if I can't regenerate? Focus, he's low too. Remember to evade and parry. You can't block that one. Jump away. Get him. Counter, nice. Chain a skill in. Nice. Weak point, hit it. Hey-ya! Nice. You got the achievement. You got it. Got what? The true end. True end? What do you mean, true end? Didn't I just start playing a short while ago? That's cause I was already in the back part. Oh, the staff credits are rolling. Perfect. Let me tell you how the story goes in the first part of the game. Very well. I can't read the words after all. I have little choice but to rely on your narration.
Thank you, Benna.
That's true, there is no Victorian release of the game. Impressive she had the patience to play for so long. The game's called Nukenin, and it's about a Nukenin, like the name, who left his homeland to live in a new nomadic city, and the story that happens there. What's a Nukenin? The Nuke part is run away, the Nin is... they're assassins, killers from the shadows. Does that make sense? Yes. And while this assassin was serving his master, his lord, he saw his lord getting killed and then was framed for the deed. So he had no choice but to leave the land for somewhere real far away. And then? So then he's where the story takes place, Shinaki City. The city is an actual real one. My super Ryaju friend Utage sent me a postcard from there once. The biggest thing about this, all the ghost stories, plenty of ghost stories all come from there. And most of them are from after the city got wrecked by a catastrophe and rebuilt. Like station stops that don't actually exist. This kind of mysterious guy where if you don't give him water, he follows you all the way home and drinks all the water there. Aki figurines that like wandering out and calling their owners when they get lost and then find their own ways back. Stuff like that. You hear that, Annie? The next time you go out to play, remember to call me. Yes. Real mystical ones. Really especially scary ones. Oh, the staff rolls over. Now it's the mega hyped secret ending time. Huh. Right, that had foreshadowing. Oh my god, everything makes sense now. Miss, what was that animation afterwards about? It all makes sense. You know how I just said the assassin moved to a new city? So because he was such an expert at assassination and investigation, he started up this detective agency. And the big guy we just defeated in that set piece was called Savara the Silentius, the oldest ghost story of Shinaki City. They say that at night, at the busiest crossing in the Psychic district, if you cross alone, you run into this Higashi Ronin dressed in ancient clothes. He uses sign language to ask you something, and if you can't answer him, don't respond or try to run. He'll hunt you down and kill you. You end up in the endless ice fields, or he goes down.
My, does it really happen?
I don't know either. Utaka said the crossing in Sake is all full of fun and excitement, and there's people drinking at every sake joint. And once they're done with one, they move on to the next. And then it's next morning and they just go back home and change clothes and go straight to work. Nobody's ever seen any kinda mute Ronin.
Sake joint? They serve drinks and sell socks in your country?
Yeah. Anyway, this game's last hidden ending tells you that every ghost story in the entire city was descended from the oldest one, and then they spread out like tree roots. Sawara wanted this Higashi place to become a city of ghost stories that outsiders would never see, and with that as his main thing, in the end he wanted to turn all the Higashi into a ghostly paradise. Unfortunately, he met the protag, a guy from outside who probed out the whole thing. In the end, Protag beats the original ghost story, finds out the city's secret, and the whole tree of stories falls apart, turning the city back to normal.
Simply because he won the set piece?
Because ghost stories need enough mystery to last in people's minds. That's how they survive and get passed on. If their true natures are revealed, the mystery disappears, and a million ghost stories lose their foundations all at once. Their whole reason to exist is gone.
Oh? Oh, haha. What a coincidence. I'd like a few things to last in this lady's mind too. Here's my plan of action. You seem very happy, miss.
We beat the hidden route. No doubt I'm happy. Super happy. Terra happy. And I have no idea when my new games are gonna get here. I guess I'll head back to the dorms.
Miss, might you wait a moment?
Hmm?
I'd like to tell you a story too. Would it agree with you? You've told me so much, and I haven't given you one word. I feel quite awkward for that. Oh, do wait a moment. You must be thirsty, miss. I'll bring you a cup of water.
Man, there she is. Stepping up again. What's going on? Am I popular now?
Here's your water.
Thanks.
Bait taken. Well then, let me tell you a ghost story of a Victorian city in exchange. As a...
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. It's not every day someone wants to talk to me. Oh yeah, I'm Kira. What do you want me to call you?
Can I tell you this tale before I answer?
Sure.
Thank you, miss. This story begins in Victoria, in a place named Lyndon. It's raining again. And I don't know where Mom and Dad are. Oh well, I needn't wonder about them. They don't mean as much as a bowl of hot soup would.
Hey, you Cabernet scamp. What are you hanging outside my door for?
Getting out of the rain. What else could I do?
You have the balls to sit right here when you can't even speak Victorian clearly. Go back to Lethanian where you came from. Did you not understand me? Get lost, you're not welcome at my door.
I'm just sitting here to avoid the rain. I'm not coming inside your home.
Don't know when to give up, do you? Bloody prick. I can handle a scolding from that bloody Longhorns foreman, but do you think you can talk back to me, you little shit? Get out of my sight and never come back!
It hurts. Let's shelter somewhere else. If it comes to the worst, dropping from the city's edge shouldn't hurt too much. Has someone fallen over there too? It seems to be an old lady. Granny, are you alright? Oh, thank you, little lamb. There are so few children who would help an old lady up these days. Oh, the children here. All they know is to ask me for apples. Not a soul inside the moment I'd like a little help from them. It's not often there's a child as kind to others as you. How good of you. How wonderful. Granny, your clothes are dirty. And yours, little lamb. Look, you've even gotten hurt here. I'll be alright. It'll wash away in the rain. You silly lamb. What if you caught a cold drenched like this? Hurry on back now. I live quite close, and as rickety as I am, I can always make it home by myself. Don't make your family worry. I haven't got one. My mom and dad asked me to wait for them at a fountain square, and then I never saw them again. Well, dearie me, poor little lamb. Coincidentally, I live all by myself, I do, and it's very lonely. Would you mind a bit of a chat with an old woman like me? A chat? I don't see why not. At least I can get out of the rain. Thank you, little lamb. Oh, what's wrong, Granny? I'm old is what it is, beyond repair. Little lamb, could I trouble you to carry my fruit basket for me? It's all full of apples I picked not a bit earlier. Oh, slipping over, carrying these heavy basket all the while. My arms and legs just don't have the strength. You're strong, little lamb. Could you help me? I'll take over for you, Granny. Say, Granny. What is it? Why would you go apple picking on a rainy day? With rains as stormy as this, wouldn't it be better to stay in? You don't understand, little lamb. Only the apples washed by rain like this are the good, strong, and sweet ones. Oh yes, the sour rain, it's so good on your taste buds.
Never, please never drink rainwater. Filter it, at least. Jesus. Anyway.
Granny, is this the place? Yes, it is. Just wait one moment. Let me find my key. Here it is. Come in, little lamb. Welcome home. Why, how warm. And how pretty. I do like hearing a little flattery every now and then. Now, just hold still. My wound, it stopped hurting. Though I've not much ability to speak of, I can find it in me to heal the little scrapes. Would you like to change into something pretty? Then follow me. It's right upstairs. It's so dark in here. This is where my darling granddaughter rests after all. Rests? Granny, weren't you the only person here? Yes, I've always been the only person here. Come, meet my darling granddaughter. This? A doll, about as tall as me, and so finely detailed. This is my granddaughter. Her name, you know, is Annie. An adorable Caprine. Just like you. You see, I've always been looking for something, and today I finally found it in you, little lamb. You've already helped so much. Granny's so very thankful. Now, could you help me with one final thing? Anything, Granny. Oh, thank you, you darling little lamb. Well then, please close your eyes. Little lamb, now, take your delectable, kindly soul and hand it out. They say there's been cases of orphan abduction like that all over Victoria. Occasionally, someone sees the old woman taking away an orphan, and all say after that night they never see the orphan again. As one might imagine, the policeman never found anything much. They'd go knocking and find either there were no old people at that house, or it would just be empty. Though one wrinkle is that every home had a doll named Annie.
Is that the end?
Yes, the end. What do you think, Miss Kirara?
It's pretty good.
It's an old yarn in Victoria at this point. I hear the cities have several variations on it, like,
That's okay. Thank you.
If you're not fond of it, I won't tell. But you know, no matter how the story changes, there's one thing that always stays the same.
You can stop. I'm really not good with this sort of thing.
But you're fine with it, in a game?
Playing a game is another thing.
That does make sense, I suppose. In that case, Annie, come and say hello.
Hello, Miss Kirara. I am Annie.
That never stops being fun. What do you think? I'd say I was quite the performer. What is it?
You went too far, Benna.
Oh, relax you. I'll give Miss Kirara a proper apology later.
Also,
What else could there be?
you forgot to tell her. Your name.
My word. Oh, no need to get pernickety over that. I'll introduce myself when the time comes.
You made it up just now?
That I did. I've got far better storytelling chops than Iris does, you know?
Granny will be upset telling stories like that. You didn't make her evil enough.
Excuse me. Was that not evil enough? I think I've already made Grandmother out to be plenty rotten. Oh, now that you say it, I suppose I can see it lacking a little. Grandmother told me at first if I'd run off with that basket that day, those 5 apples would have been my very last meals. And that wicked trap after she led me into the dining hall, then went to take a bath and change. If I so much as took a bite of the feast in there, I'd be sent right back onto that stormy street before I could blink. Now that was certainly real. I remember it even now. That left some very murky shadows on my young heart.
What Granny says is the truth.
I wouldn't say she's rotten otherwise. I haven't even a clue how Granny first entered the Castle of Dreams. Perhaps because she was a bad good person. Just like me.
You're not bad.
What makes you think to try and grovel to me now? Be good and confess, Annie. Did you or did you not play this game beforehand?
I did.
Then what was on your mind dragging me here too?
I played it before. It was fun. I wanted you to play it too.
I see. So that's why the game controls felt so familiar to me. How many hours did you spend on it?
3 nights, 24 hours.
24? Did you sneak out at bedtime? Grandmother will really be mad.
I have you. I'm not scared.
Come over, Annie. Here, sit by my side. We may have just passed this level, but we haven't touched the previous one at all. Teach me very carefully, one-on-one, okay? And another thing. What did Miss Kirara mean with the set piece she kept going on about?
Boss.
Oh, so that's all it was. And here I thought it was some strange new thing.
It started.
Oh, yes, let's focus on the gaming now. What would you say? Do you think our scaring of Miss Kirara might really take root in her country? Sprout forth into a new ghost story, perhaps?
Focus, Benna.
Oh, very well. Sorry. It's a push of this button, isn't it? Game start.
And that is our final story for today. Next time we're gonna finish off with the last 3. But also, can I just say, please don't bully the Kirara. But it was still funny. Not gonna lie, the stupid laugh for Benna after Kirara books the hell out of that room was not pretended. That was actual laughing. I'm not even sorry for that. That was just funny. But at the same time, please don't bully the Kirara. Anyway, that was a story. There was a lot of gaming in that story. I do wonder if the game that she was talking about, the one with the number 2 in there, was a spoof on Suikoden 2. But maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's another game. I'm actually not sure. The moment I heard it, I was like, is she talking about Suikoden 2? Is that it? Anyway, interesting story. Once again, showing us that Benna and the other characters have a quite depressing background. But hey, it's Arknights. Everybody has a depressing background, right? Ugh. Oh boy. Why do we like depression? Anyway, very interesting story. Benna definitely has a heavy backstory. I do love the fact that the whole thing is also, while she did tell the story to and embellish the story quite a lot to spook Kirara there, I do love the fact that at the same time that story is technically based on a true thing, which makes me way more afraid of that grandmother than ever before, now remembering back to this one. But yeah, this is... Ooh. Again, another group of people that literally needs a side story, literally needs something like this vignette format, where it's a story from start to finish, just covering them and just telling their whole story and explaining how they work, what is happening, what is all this wish stuff and giving stuff away, and you know, it needs a proper side story to be properly explained. For now, it's literally just myth and legend, and hey, good luck piecing this together. But yeah, anyway, this will be our finale for today. Next time, we're gonna continue with the next 3 stories, and we are gonna be finishing off this old vignette collection. But for now, as always, thank you very much for watching, listening. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like on it. It would help me out a lot. If you're new to the channel and like this, consider subscribing. There's, like I said at the beginning of the video, there's pretty much everything out of this game right now, as of this recording, is pretty much covered and done and dusted, and more to come in the future. More to come in the future, and I have no idea about what the stories are actually entailing. I only know their titles. I'm keeping myself away from the CN bullshit. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much, and yeah, hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.